Okay, we are live here at Let's Talk Fishing series. This is more of the underwater stuff. Let's do a little quick howdy to everyone. Okay, what I want to talk about this round is two things. Well, one thing, underwater fish scouting or underwater videos. And yours truly picked up a couple of deals here. Here's one. This is the Water Wolf camera, and this is the Go Fish camera. I've had the Go Fish one for I think a couple of years now. I had the Water Wolf 1.0 several years ago, and then I lost it kayaking. And then guess what? I found out that the 2.0 version came out recently, so I was able to get a hold of one of those, and I've been out and about testing it out, trying to check things out. But what I want to do this round is just show you what I've got so far. So let's talk about the Water Wolf piece real quick and shift you over to the first scene. Okay, bear with me. Okay, so this is over here at Lake Glen. It's a lake that's close to where I go, where I work, my day job. And yours truly's got the opportunity to fish this particular location. And let me go blow it up for you. Well, this is going to be the first time I've used the camera and some key things that I picked up while I used it. So let's run the video. Okay, so right off the bat, I've got about 18, 19 inches of line on the Water Wolf camera trailing behind me. You could see something just went behind it and kind of chased it. But you can barely see it. It's kind of murky, it's cloudy, and there's a little bluegill that just went by. But you'll see something hit shortly. And right now it's about 20 inches in length, trailing behind about the middle of the camera, so I'm pretty happy with that. And I'm using 6 grams of weight. And what I'm hoping to do, because I heard that you can use it casting, I've used the Go Fish camera before, and that one's heavier. This one's a lot lighter, I think less than 3 ounces, so I'm easily able to cast it with a bait casting rig that I'm using. I've got a little Rapala Husky jerk, and in a short bit, you will see something come up behind it after I kind of work out a couple of issues with the line. What happens is the way the rig is set up, it has a kind of mount that sticks behind it, and it tends to clobber with your fishing line. So I ended up having some issues here. Like right here is a classic example of it clobbering because the lure has gotten caught or is up closer to the camera because the line has wrapped around the back end. So kind of working some of those issues out, hoping to get that resolved so I can keep continuing casting. It works great for trolling. No issues there, but when you're casting, you do have that tendency to get that line caught up behind it. All right, and it's overcast, so and the water is fairly murky. So I was hoping to get some better visibility, but at least it's good to know that the 20-inch line gets the camera using that 6 gram weight to the right position to have the lure in the middle of the video. All right, let's see what happens here. I think this may be where that one, the first bass on the Water Wolf camera will be hitting here shortly, I think. Let's see. Okay, you can see the lure here in the middle, just kind of wiggling, and I think it'll be coming up here shortly. Well, we'll see here in a moment. I don't want to speed it up because it happens really quick. It's a oh, I guess I got to recast it. But you can see how murky the water is, and I'm able to cast it readily with that bait casting gear. And I think you'll see it hit here in a moment. And it'll happen really quick. I think I slowed it down in a shorts video that I posted the other day. So there it is right there. Look at that. Nice. So that's the first fish on the Water Wolf camera 2.0. And I'd say he's about maybe 14, 15 inches in size. So not bad for a morning before work fishing outing quick trip. Woo! Fun stuff. Okay, so I continue on with that, and then I'll shift, still having to work through the line and whatnot and getting tangled. But here, I'm going to go and cast it again. I'll get the second fish, but the big thing I learned about here is that mount. You got to be very careful with that mount because I'll end up losing the camera. And luckily it floats, and I was able to grab it at the tail end of the strike. So right here, you can barely see it. It's running about short of 2 foot behind, 20 inches or so. I'm using a Rapala Husky jerk. There's the strike. All right, and you'll notice that as I'm bringing it in, the camera's going to fall in the water. So there it's coming in. That's about maybe a 16-inch bass. And there's the camera. Luckily, it floats, and I was able to recover it, no problem. Okay, so that's the first 2 fish I caught with the Water Wolf camera, 2.0. Then I decided to go and take it out again. Let's see if I can get you to that scene here. Okay, this is at the local lake, Bethany Lakes. And one thing I like about this camera is, it is fairly light. I mean, look at this. It's less than 3 ounces, I think. I mean, it's pretty light, and it casts readily. With the 2.0, you do have this little piece here that you can run through the back and pull it out and turn on things. The big difference between what I have with the GoFish camera right here, this is the GoFish. It's heavier. It doesn't have a power level indicator or an indicator indicating if it's recording. This one does. The old 1.0 didn't have one, but there was a workaround where you could cover the back right here and look through it, and you could see in the back that the light was still blinking and you had power. The way it is now with the 2.0 is you can clearly see the power level based on the color. On the top, it'll be green, yellow, and red. And then you can also see the indication of a blinking red light indicating that it is recording. And what's nice about that is I've had it before where I've had the GoFish camera where I don't know if I'm recording or not, or if I've run out of power. This one, I'm able to, just like the 1.0, just it has really more LED indicators than the 1.0. It does have better low light capability, and additionally, they say it'll last you 4 hours on a charge. I've only used it for about an hour and a half, but had no problems with it so far. So more to come. Let me go shift you over to the outing yesterday. Okay, this is at Bethany Lakes, the local pond that is right down the road from yours truly. And here I'm just going to do some scouting again with the Rapala Husky jerk. Okay, and it's a suspending lure, so it kind of is neutrally balanced. There's Bethany Lakes. There's really clobbered, so I'm going to have to cast way out there. And when I fish the main pond at Bethany, you can see that it does get tangled and whatnot. And here's another one where I'm getting tangled. But look at that. There's a turtle that went by. And then right after that, a bass comes up. Check that out. Right? And this whole time, I didn't get any strikes. I had no idea that there was fish following my lure. I was just out there thinking, oh, okay, I'm not getting anything. Let's go shift off to another pond. So there's a bluegill chasing, and he's actually tagging it, and I had no idea. Here's another one. This is a bass that's going to be chasing it. And this whole time, I didn't know if I had a fish chasing it or not, or had a fish biting. Okay, there's some bass coming up right behind it. Look at this. Okay. All right, this one, yeah, looks like a bass that's kind of lurking in the background. All right, here's some bluegill coming through. There's a big bass that went by. And this whole time, I had no idea that this is happening. This is just fish chasing it, and there goes a turtle. Okay, here's some bluegill. It gets clobbered, but something's still going to come behind it. Right there, there's a bass that went by. Let's see if maybe I can stop it at some point here. All right. Some turtles now, and then I got some bluegill chasing behind me. Now it looks like a little bluegill. All right. It's clobbered, and these bluegill are just chasing this thing. All right. Again, this is the main pond here at Bethany Lakes. There's a bass that's snapping at it, and several more behind it. There's another bass. All right. So, you know what this tells me? If I went out to Bethany Lakes main pond and I went with probably one of these little husky jerks or an inline spinner, I probably have a really good opportunity to catch more than one bass, if you get my hint. So here's another one where now I've casted it and I'm just kind of slowly bringing it in, kind of letting it drift behind, and you can see that it's a suspending lure, and you can see that there's some fish over there. All right, so now I switch over to a power worm, and right off the bat, I got these guys coming in. Some bluegill. There's a turtle right behind that one. There's another turtle. Oh yeah, it's pretty interesting seeing what you can see with this underwater deal. There goes a nice sized bluegill going behind it. And more bluegill. This one's just tagging at it now. All right, and then here, I think some more bluegill will come by. Yeah, there's one that actually takes it, and I think he spit it out on me. Some more bluegill. And so what you notice is the fish are able to, or want the power worm, but the way it's configured, I think I got it wacky rigged. It's not getting, or they're not getting hooked because they're not striking where the hook is. So here's a nice sized bluegill that's kind of chasing behind it, and I think you might get a glimpse of maybe a bass in the background. I don't see it yet. Okay, so there's some more bluegill, more bluegill. They're just kind of hanging out. All right, and it's fairly murky, about maybe 6 feet down. And here I believe my power worm is a little clobbered, but it's starting to float down there. Okay, here we go. Some nice little bluegill checking things out. Okay, more bluegill. There's another one. These are probably maybe 3-4 inch. The ones earlier that were chasing it, I believe they were about 6+ inch, maybe bigger. I think I saw a glimpse of a bass behind it here. All right, let's see. Okay. No, that's a bluegill. He's just picking at the tail, so he's not going to get hooked. He's just kind of picking away at it. More bluegill, and I ended up cutting the power worm to this little piece here, and you'll notice I'll be able to hook one here shortly, right there. All right, so any lesson learned: if they're short striking on your little power worm wacky rig, we'll just cut off a little piece and make a little grub out of it. Here's a nice sized bass that was on the bottom. I've seen this one before. I'll guesstimate maybe 4-pounder. Yeah, and there's actually about 3 or 4 that are hanging out by the pier area. I think they're protecting their beds. Here I switch over to a little. It's another Rapala, but it's a micro lure, about maybe an inch in size. And right off the bat, I got a turtle that's coming by and wanting to run it down, so I'm gonna have to pull that away. And then I think I'll get something else. Yeah, a little bluegill starts popping at it. Okay. So earlier, that Rapala suspended husky jerk was, I didn't think it was getting much attention, but I'd guesstimate maybe 20, 30 fish were in the main pond that chased it. I switch over to a Rebel Lure crawdad, and there's a turtle that really liked it. And I believe there's another turtle that's going to come by. Yep, here's another turtle that's coming by. All right. Okay. I'm getting an indication of some issue. Oh, okay. All right, so here it is. This is that single hook Rebel Lure, and I've gotten some mixed results with that. So I switched that one over, and I went to an olive near deer. And so notice that the Rebel Lure was getting some attention, but going to this olive near deer, kind of just letting it drift, it kind of surprised me. It didn't get as much attention as the other lures, but sure enough, this guy comes up right from the bottom and hits it. I had him on briefly. I ended up losing him when I was lifting him out of the water. But a little, maybe 12-inch bass on that olive near deer. All right, and then here we go. There's some bluegill that are just kind of tailing at it. So heads up, if you probably want to catch something over there by the pier area, you could probably use streamer flies, olive woolly bugger, near deer, and you'll probably be having a fun time out there popping away at these guys. So here's another one. Okay, there's a nice bass that went by. Just ignored it though. Can you believe that? There's another bass kind of looking at it. All right, and this is the olive near deer. So far, I fished a Rapala husky jerk at the main pond and got didn't know I was getting some looks, but I did get a fair amount. And then switched over to a power worm and had some hits there. But when I made it into a little grub and took a piece of it because it was wacky rigged, at that point I was able to hook into one. And then I switched over to this olive near deer and got a good strike on one bass. Here's a bass that's kind of just swimming by, looking at it, and then turns away. Alrighty, and then I think at this point I switch over to, it's like a clouser. Yeah, it's a clouser, but I've got it on a jig hook. And I had one look right there. He just kind of nibbled at it. And then he didn't go for it. And here he goes again. He's going to nibble at it, and then he's going to go away. So that didn't quite want to take my fly. But I continue on, and now I have to go and deal with some of these turtles that are having some fun with my lure. All right. So that was pretty much the fun and games this round. Here's a bass that gets interested, but then decides to turn away. So cool stuff. And so that's what I wanted to do, was just do a little Let's Talk Fishing series live stream, talk about the underwater cameras, in this case some fish scouting. I've got two of them now. The Go Fish camera, this one I'm going to use to do the do-it-yourself gummy gums or fish bites that I made. This one I rig where there's a weight on the bottom, and then there's a sliding fish finder rig at the top. This is where this little orange thing is, and that's where I'll put the gummy gums and hopefully see what will take that do-it-yourself fish bite that I made, or a variant of the fish bite. I call it the gummy gums because it's got the consistency of the gummy bear candy. And then this one I've been using mainly just to cast. I'll probably take it out trolling. It does last a lot longer. I still got to learn a few things with it. And I think for casting, I may make some adjustments to the mount so that it doesn't wrap the line behind it like it did in the video. So I got a little more testing there. All right. That's all I had this round. Appreciate those that were able to join. And if you check things out after the live stream's posted, do send some comments, questions, and whatnot. Have some insight now on these different cameras. Particularly, I had the Waterwolf 1.0 several years ago before I lost it. Replace it with the Go Fish Cam. Had that for a couple of years. And then most recently, I've got the Waterwolf 2.0. And so far, I got some favorable results with the Waterwolf 2.0. All right, all for now. Until next time, we'll catch y'all later. And good luck. Good fishing.